All right, this is a 7172 review. All my classes ended up about here. Some of us ended at 10, so let me go ahead and start back at 10 just to review with you guys. So this stays as 2, a to the third b squared. This becomes b to the 6 because I have to multiply. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and combine my b's. So this is 2a to the third b to the 8. And that would be my final answer. Number 11. The 3 goes to the 4 to the x and to the y. So this would be negative 4 to the third, x to the third, y to the third. The 3 goes to the 2 and the x. So that would be negative 2 to the third, x to the 6. Negative 4 to the third is literally negative 64. That's negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. X to the third, x to the 6, same level, becomes x to the 9. Y to the third. Negative 2 to the third would be negative 8 because that's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 64, negative 8 are front numbers, so I could go ahead and I can multiply those. That gives me 512. X to the 9, y to the third. Number 12. 2 goes to everything on the left side. That's negative 3 squared. J to the 4, k to the 6. Then I distribute the 3, so that would be 2 to the third, j to the 6, k to the third. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. J to the 4, j to the 6 becomes j to the 10. K to the 6, k to the 3 becomes k to the 9. 2 times 2 times 2 becomes 8. Now I can take 9 times 8, 72. J to the 10, k to the 9. Number 13, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 3. That becomes 25 to the third, a to the 6, b to the third. The 2 goes to the 1, to the 5, to the a, b, f. So I literally give it to everything on the inside. So that becomes 1 squared over 5 squared, a squared, b squared, f squared. 25 to the third becomes, let me see, (25 to the third becomes 15625. A to the 6, a squared becomes a to the 8. B to the third, b squared becomes b to the 5th. F is by itself, so that's f squared. And then 1 squared is 1. 5 squared is 25. Now I can multiply my 2 front numbers. Even if this is a fraction, I'm going to go ahead and multiply it to the front. So I'm going to multiply this by, so 125, that would give me 625. So I end up with 625, a to the 8, b to the 5, f squared. And that's my final answer. Number 14, I distribute it to everything. That's 2 squared, x squared, y squared. I bring down my negative 3, x squared. And I bring down my 4, y to the 4. I'm going to go ahead and multiply my front numbers. 2 squared becomes 4, so I'm going to take 4 times negative 3 times 4. So 4 times negative 3 times 4 gives me negative 48. X squared becomes x to the 4th. y squared, y4 becomes y to the 6. Number 15. I'm going to give the 3 to everything on the inside, so that's 2 to the 3rd, x to the 9, y to the 6, z to the 6. I'm going to give the 4 to both. That's x to the 8, z to the 4. So 2 to the 3rd becomes 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. x9, x8 becomes x17. Y is by itself. Z6, Z4 becomes Z10. Number 16. I bring all this down. I bring this down. And I distribute my 3. I have to distribute before I do anything else always. Now I can go ahead and multiply my front numbers, -2, -6, that's positive 12. In 6, in 3, in 3, that would be in 12. Y5, Y2 is 7, Y3 is 10, and I am done. Number 17, -3, a to the 3rd, n to the 4, I bring that down, times, this is -3, now I have to distribute my 4 to everything, so that's -3 to the 4, a to the 12, n to the 4. -3 to the 4 becomes -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. That gives me 81, so this becomes 81. 81 times -3. That becomes -243. A to the 3rd, a to the 12 becomes a to the 15. N to the 4, n to the 4, that becomes n to the 8. Number 18, I bring down the -3. 4 squared, or sorry, 2, so that's times 2 to the 4. This is x to the 4, and then I distribute this 2, so that would be 4 squared, x10, y squared. 2 to the 4 becomes 2 times 2, so that, let me see, 2 to the 4 becomes 16. 4 squared becomes 16. This is the front number, front number, front number. -3 times 16 times 16 gives me -768. x4, x10 becomes x14, y2. Now we're on the back side. Number 19. On number 19, I can go ahead and I can reduce. Don't worry about 28 or 29. So this would be 1 over 9. My f -2 goes away. G3 stays on top. G -5 goes on top. 5 minus 3 becomes h squared. So g to the 3rd, g to the 5, that becomes g to the 8. H squared over 9. Number 20, -12 over 2 would be -6 over 1. The t goes on bottom, so that's t to the 1. T to the -3 goes on top, so that's t to the 3rd. U5, U1, I can subtract those. That's U4 on top. X -4 goes on bottom. X5 stays on bottom. So now I can go ahead and do this. This is -6, T3, T1, opposite level, so I subtract, that's T squared. U4 stays on top. X4, X5 becomes X9. And I'm done. Number 21, R to the 4. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 3, so 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. R to the 3rd. 4 minus 3 becomes 1, and it stays on top. So it's R to the 1 over 27. Number 22. I have to distribute first. So this would be m to the negative 2, n to the negative 5, over m to the negative 4, n to the negative 3. Now I need to start switching levels. M squared goes on bottom, n5 goes on bottom, m4 goes on top, n3 goes on top. Now I can start subtracting. 4 minus 2, my larger is on top, so that's m squared on top. 5 is larger, so 5 minus 3 becomes on bottom. Number 23, I need to distribute my negative 4, so that would be j to the positive 4, k to the negative 12, over j3, k3. Okay? So j to the 4 stays, but I can subtract, so that's j1 on top. Whoops, sorry. There you go. I apologize for not you being able to see that. 4 minus 3 becomes 1. K12 goes on bottom. K3 stays on bottom. If I combine these two on bottom, I'm left with J on top, K15 on bottom. Okay? Number 24. I'm only going to do 24 and 25 because I think I'm running out of video time, so don't worry about 26, 27. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 3, so that's 2 to the negative 3, a to the positive 6, b to the negative 3, over 5a squared, b to the 4. So let's see what happens here. So this is 2 to the negative 3, so that becomes 2 to the third on bottom, which is 8. 5 stays on bottom. 6 minus 2 becomes a to the 4. B to the 3 goes on bottom. And the B4 stays on bottom. So a to the 4 is on top. 8 times 5 is 40. And then B3, B4 becomes B7 on bottom. I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because I think my video is about to run out of time.